ask you some information so I can verify your identity?
Go ahead.
What's your date of birth, please?
10-4-77.
What's your full name, please?
My full name.
Please.
I, Something's happening with your phone.
What is your first and last name?
Zori Rush.
Thank you. And what is your place of birth, the city and the state?
Upor, Mississippi.
What's your mother's maiden name?
Rush.
And what is your complete mailing address, including the city, state, and zip code, please?
6912 Mount Vernon Road, Upor, Mississippi 39744.
Okay, and let me take a look here at what's going on, okay? Because I see that something is at the payment center, so let me take a look here, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I need to speak to a supervisor for is because people keep saying that. They say that something's at the payment center. I keep hearing that over the phone. I have nothing in my possession that says the payment center is reviewing a critical payment processing claim beyond the time that's in the. I hear teleservice telling me that, but I have nothing that shows that, and
Okay,
it's that seems odd to me. So that's why I request to speak specifically to a supervisor to see what policy is being specifically used on my case, not just
okay,
in a general case. Because if you see that, you as an individual see that, from what I'm reading, it says that you should see that as an error and a delay. That if someone from your offices has contacted the payment center to inquire about a critical payment processing notice and that there has not been a response since July, what I'm seeing in the program operation manual rule says that that is something that the teleservice agent is supposed to report as a misinformation or a problem, a non-compliant problem. So that's why I need to speak to a supervisor to see
okay,
what's the policy that's preventing the Social Security Administration from applying its rules that the
okay.
public can see. What does it? Can you, while you're typing, can you answer me this? What does it mean when it says resolve the issue of misinformation in favor of the claimant unless there is reasonable doubt or clear contradictory evidence?
um, that's basically saying we should give you the benefit of the doubt.
Every person.
Let me finish typing this message to my supervisor, okay?
Okay. Are you a claims representative?
No, I'm not. I'm just a customer service representative.
Okay.
So I'm going to, so can you tell me a little bit about what's going on though? I see,
Well, right now there is what you just saw is that supposedly without complying with federal notice requirements, someone communicated with the Baltimore Payment Center about the local field office not processing an order by Administrative Judge Roger Lott on May 27, 2021 for critical case processing. So someone sent that to the payment center without sending me a notice. So I have no evidence to prove that that actually happened. And the misinformation that I was given regarding the policy regarding the critical payment processing issue has since been given by each employee at teleservice when I called to discuss the misinformation that's been given by the field office. And now the entire issue is under a process of determination that violates the critical case processing that the public is available to see as what's mandated by the program's operation manual. But the appointment that I have scheduled for November the 28th doesn't comply with the critical case processing requirements, where you would reach a determination if there are benefits owed within 3 to 5 business days under these procedures, and the determination for the November 28th for what would occur on the November the 28th meeting is being made in violation of all a different programs operation manual statute that says the claims representative other than the adjudicator or employee who gave the misinformation will make a misinformation determination following the guidelines. And the teleservice agents keep telling me that I have to call back to the person who gave the original misinformation. And that's who the appointment is scheduled with. So I've tried to get the appointment fixed because it violates these two policies. It's the appointment is with an employee who is accused of giving the information, the false information, and it doesn't comply with critical case processing, apparently because what the teleservice representatives are telling me is because of an internal policy that's being used that does not resolve the issue of misinformation in favor of the claimant. It does not give me the benefit of doubt. It basically says our policy overrides the fact that you're telling us about misinformation. So that's why I'd like to speak to a supervisor to find out why are they saying that without actually applying it to the case by case analysis that I just described. Because this manual requires that policy be reviewed based on my case. It would have to apply to my case and not just generally apply.
Okay. And so this is for but the main issue is you filed a reconsideration, and you think that and that
Right now, ma'am, all I
your,
need is the appointment for a critical case processing issue to go over an emergency critical case processing issue that is not with the employee who was accused of giving the misinformation. Because right now that's what I have. I have an appointment scheduled for November the 28th of 2022 to discuss these issues and prefer evidence to show that this policy that's used is actually detrimental to my health. That appointment has been scheduled with someone who is the person who gave the misinformation. So that definitely it violates this policy.
So you're talking with the same person who
Right.
initially gave you the misinformation.
Right.
Okay.
And it's not a critical case appointment because it's scheduled for November the 28th, and I need an appointment with what it says is the the direct supervisor or an employee of. I'm not looking directly at it, but it was the word translates to an employee of higher status would be the person who would develop the case and make a determination from preferred evidence during the interview. That's the procedure. And the procedure actually states that it says pay any benefits due based on the current application and develop the misinformation aspects if further development is required to resolve the misinformation issue. So since the misinformation issue is a critical payment processing issue, the November the 28th date would violate my right to have the critical payment processing procedure if I don't have the emergency appointment. And it looks like it's going to be an amended award where their deemed filing date and some other things are going to change based on some information that was alleged in the original application that's misinformation.
Okay, I'm going to email this to my supervisor. Okay, and I put a little bit of background in here, and I told her that you've been trying to get this call back since July. Okay, and then you were given misinformation. You have an appointment with the field office on the 28th, but this appointment is with the same person who gave him misinformation in the first place. that's not acceptable to you. You believe that violates your rights insofar as the critical processing procedures go. Correct?
That's almost, if I could have summarized it in the way that you just did, I would not have such a dry mouth right now. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Okay, I'm going to email this to my supervisor. You should receive a call. I know you've been hearing this. You should receive a call back within 48 hours. So, so they do, so just make sure you're looking out for your at your phone calls. My supervisor tells me, hey, we call people back, and most of the time they don't answer. So just make sure you're answering your phone calls within the
Well,
next 24 to 48 hours.
I do
Okay?
want to, just because you are working for a agency that is a part of my government. I do want to clarify that I did get a call from someone who claimed to be, it was odd. His name was Keith, not Keith Urban, but I am banned from all Social Security offices for clarity. But
I see that.
an individual named Keith, and that's part of the misinformation that I'm attempting to review, is that the field office is placing that information in there intentionally, in while they have evidence to the contrary for processing. But this person named Keith called me yesterday from a number. The number was a 301 number, and it came up with an individual's name on it that was similar to the name Brittany Grinder. I don't know if you know who that is, but I follow media a lot because of a media intrusion claim, and I've also,
I know who that is.
you do. Well, I've also claimed that these individuals that are providing this information are participating in an activity of socialism similar to that. And then I got a phone call that recorded a voicemail that claimed to be from a social service agency of our government that had that her name on it, and it was it that I just wanted to clarify that occurred. I can't say that the Social Security Administration called me, but I can tell you that just on yesterday that occurred, and I wasn't available to take that call. Thankfully, I wasn't available to take that call, because if I had taken the call at the moment that I saw the name Brittany Griner come up on my phone, I probably would have been having a panic attack, because that's what it induced. I felt
That's
panicked at the
that's
time.
odd.
Not very odd for me. If you look at those notes there, you should see there are, my name is being created as an oddity by the Social Security Administration employees. It's an Obamacare issue. It's My state is the only state that has not complied with the mandated statute to expand Medicaid, and once it expired, my application date was changed. And that's what all this is about, is because once they change my application date back, it's going to prove that they did it intentionally, that they intentionally changed my application date to violate a statute of Obamacare. And that's why I'm being held hostage. It's not funny,
I
but
mean,
just it's,
I mean, sometimes sometimes customer is dealing with things.
well,
You
it's
can't
a
deal with me in any other way. So,
well, I don't want to interrupt you, and I feel like we were in a good spot despite the notes that are there. And I have to tell you that the Department of the person that handles the disability trust funds for the Social Security Administration and the Department of Treasury are one and the same person. And sometimes My phone start acting up when I start telling things like what I've just told you to persons who are innocent people, and that just happened. You were saying something, but I couldn't hear you because the phone was doing one of those choppy, chopped up call things. So you're probably not going to be able to talk to me anymore, but I would appreciate it if you could get that message to your supervisor if there's anything else.
I'm gonna send it right now. Okay.
Okay. I
So,
think I could hear that part a little bit. It's choppy, but I could hear that part.
so you should receive a call back in 24 to 48 hours. Okay.
All right. All right. I heard that part too. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and please have a good rest of your day, sir.
You
Okay.
as well.